So everything that you just saw was filmed on the iPhone 17 Pro. Now, over the last few weeks, I've been traveling and I've actually taken this opportunity to film almost everything on just the iPhone 17 Pro. There's a few reasons for this. One, I wanted to test out the camera's capabilities, but also two, I didn't want to carry around huge cameras all the time. It's the first trip in a long time that I haven't had a DSLR, a mirrorless, or even a film camera with me. All I had was just the iPhone 17 Pro. I'm planning to do an in-depth review on this device, specifically the camera from a filmmaker's perspective. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button. It'll be coming out pretty soon, I think. But in today's video, I just wanted to break down what I brought on my travels, basically my mobile filmmaking kit, what I use to get the most out of this camera, as well as the app BlackMagic Cam, and how I set it up and utilize it in the field, and the specific settings that I use to try and get the most out of this tiny camera. So first up, let's break down the accessories that I like to pair with this device. All right, so first up, let's go over the gear that you're gonna need, or the lack of gear that you'll end up needing. So obviously, if you'd like to, you can film everything that you need to film on just the iPhone if you have internal storage. So I'm talking pretty much anything over 256 gigabytes. So I have the 512 gigabyte option. I think the ideal size is 1 terabyte, but I've just got the 512 here. And to pair with the iPhone, the one thing that you're gonna wanna add is a variable ND filter. The one that I have is from a company called Freewell. This is their magnetic mobile filmmaking kit, and it comes with a 1 to 5 stop CPL/variable ND filter. Variable NDs are basically just sunglasses for your lenses. So what they do is they block or they reduce the amount of light that is shown into your actual sensor. So by sliding and shifting this ND, you can increase or decrease the amount of light shown here. The Freewell kit actually comes with a few different other options that you can add in. You can add in like a glow or a mist filter to the actual variable ND, or you could swap and add in an additional 5 stops of ND. So instead of 1 to 5 stop, you can get 6 to 9 stop. For the most part, I'm not even bringing this pouch with me. I mean, I'll have it, but I barely use it. I'm just typically sticking to the 1 to 5 stop that is shown here in this variable ND. Now, in order to get this onto the iPhone, you're gonna need the case, and the case comes with the kit. This is the case here. It just got this metallic bezel that's gonna go in front of your camera's lenses here. So we'll just pop that on, and just like that, you've now got an attachment area where the nifty thing about this is that it's actually just magnetic, and it just pops on just like that, and it's super easy to use. Again, just to show you how quickly and easy this is, it just pops right on, and it's pretty sturdy, it's pretty stable. Like, this hasn't fallen off at all. And this thing covers all 3 lenses, and so you don't have to worry about any sort of like vignetting. It's wide enough. It's not too cumbersome. You can see a little bit of the edges as you're filming, but it's not that big of a deal. In between scenes, I like to just pop this off and keep this in my pocket or in like a separate pouch, but when I'm filming, obviously I just pop it on and it's good to go. The other item that I use and I highly recommend is an external SSD, or a solid state drive. This is the Lexar 1 terabyte version. They also sell the 2 terabyte version, I believe, and it comes with a nice little U-shaped dongle. And so this is really useful because all you have to do is just really easily just pop this on like so, and it's really unobtrusive. It still allows for MagSafe, so you can still attach this MagSafe via like a tripod or a mount, and it's really useful. But honestly, just having this is a game changer. The Lexar actually comes with an additional like dongle. When you purchase the Lexar, you actually get an additional little like dongle/USB hub. And so if you want to additionally attach different other USB-C attachments, or you can even attach like a light or anything, you just additionally just kind of like, you just attach them USB-C to USB-C. And so this gives you additional USB-C outputs. I don't use this setup very often. I just like to keep it light and to the point and just have the SSD along with my variable ND on my phone. And then finally, as part of my kit, I also have this Anker, just really easy to use portable power bank. When you're filmmaking outside with the iPhone on like ProRes RAW and stuff, it can eat up your battery pretty quickly. I mean, you can get any real portable battery bank, but this is the one that I use. This is, I believe, 10,000 mAh, but this one, I think it was relatively cheap, and it's relatively lightweight too. And so if you click the button, it'll tell you your charge percentage. As you're charging, it'll charge it. And then when you just want to have it as kind of an accessible little carry-on, you can actually attach the USB-C into itself, and it's pretty sturdy. You can actually carry this via this little ribbon here, the actual cable. So in terms of actual gear, this 3-part system right here is basically what I run and gun with. This is all I need. Sometimes at night, you don't even need the variable ND at times, and if you have a large enough internal storage, you don't even really need an SSD if you keep offloading your footage. But the files can get pretty big. Let me go ahead and show you my settings in the BlackMagic Cam app that I use for everything. Okay, so a quick nifty thing that I like to do on all of my iPhones is I like to configure the action button to the BlackMagic Cam app or whatever app you end up using for your external filmmaking or your more in-depth filmmaking. So I have this obviously as just the regular camera button, but the action cam button here will automatically open up the BlackMagic Cam app. And that's a really nifty feature that I like to include on basically all of my my iPhones. So real quickly, I'm just gonna go over my base settings that I use for almost all of my filmmaking. And this just works for me. Typically, what I like to do is I like to go first into my frame rate, and I like to film everything at 30 FPS, but you can go ahead and, I mean, you can obviously change your frame rate to anything that you want. A lot of people like to shoot at 24 frames per second or 23.98. I just like to film at 30 frames per second. I feel like it feels the most smooth. So I have it on 30 FPS and I leave 30 FPS on at all times. The next thing I like to do is go to my shutter speed, and for cinematic motion blur, basically what you want to do is follow the 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule just means that you double your frame rate. So because I'm filming at 30 FPS, I'm going to use a shutter speed of 1/60, and you can lock this here and really easily adjust your shutter speed however you need. Typically I have it at 1/60, but a quick tip, if you're in an area like a different country or you see lights flickering inside or outside, just pop down your shutter speed one little tick, one little stop. I like to film at 1/50 sometimes to avoid flickering. Just a quick tip here. Once you have your shutter speed set, just click the lock button so it doesn't change as you're filming. Auto white balance, you can set your white balance at anything. I just like to keep it at auto when I'm filming on mobile just because you don't really know all of the scenes that you're filming at. Right here next to the record button, you can choose your lens type. And so when you're filming on the iPhone, there are 3 main lenses. There's the 0.5, the 1x, and then the 4x zoom. These are all the standard focal lengths. But you'll notice when you film the iPhone, you notice 0.5, 1x, 2x, 4x, and 8x. The 2x and 8x are technically digital zooms, so they're not optically that actual focal length. They just use digital software to zoom in. So it's not the cleanest image. I like to stick to 0.5, 1x, and again, 4x on the iPhone 17. So just a little tip here. So when you're in the lens choices, it's either the 24mm, the 13mm, which is a 0.5, or the 100mm, which is the 4x. Those are the 3 that I typically like to stay at for lenses. For LUT, when I'm filming in log, I have a Rec 709 neutral LUT that's just baked into the actual app. That way I know when I'm filming kind of roughly what my colors are looking like, and I'm not just guessing what the log looks like. On the bottom left here, you have stabilization. And so for stabilization, I like to keep standard on. You obviously can turn off stabilization if you'd like, but for handheld filmmaking, I like to keep on standard usually. And everything else, I pretty much like to keep on auto. Like I don't like to touch everything else that I don't need to film on. So when I'm filming, these are kind of the base settings. In terms of settings for your actual codecs, this is where it gets interesting. On the new iPhones, you can film in a variety of different codecs. So one of the most fun codecs is obviously Apple ProRes RAW HQ. And ProRes RAW allows you to utilize the full sensor. You can film an open gate if you'd like. The problem with ProRes RAW when I'm filming is that it doesn't allow for stabilization. So if you got your iPhone just like on a tripod locked off and that's not an issue and you're not really moving around with it, then no problem. You can shoot on ProRes RAW, the files are massive. But for what I like to do, and I think for most people, what I'd highly recommend is filming on Apple ProRes 422 HQ. It's a great kind of like high quality codec without having to use the full RAW capability. RAW allows you to change your ISO and white balance after the fact in Davinci. So if you need that flexibility, cool. But for most things, I think most people are probably good at 422 HQ or 422. For resolution, I've got it at 4K, and then for color space, I've actually got this set to Apple Log 2 HDR. Now, there's a new Apple Log 2 that's been released recently. For this, you can either choose Apple Log or Apple Log 2. I like to use Apple Log 2 because it's the newest one. I haven't noticed any like considerable differences between the two, but when you can, try the new things out. For audio source, also just another kind of additional setting. I like to keep the microphone on auto. You can do back, front, or bottom, depending on where you expect the audio to come from. When you're out and about, just set it to auto. It's a really easy way to deal with everything. And then if you scroll down to media, this is the key here. In order to make sure that your files are saving directly to your SSD and not to the actual camera in files app, what you need to go down to is go to save clips to, and make sure it's selected to, instead of NF only, files, and just select Lexar, BlackMagic Cam. Just make sure it's saved directly to your Lexar or whatever SSD you're using so that the files, as you film, they automatically save to your SSD and you're not having to like dump files off of your phone all the time. It's super annoying. Once you got that set up, it's really easy. You just go ahead and film whatever you want to film. You can adjust your ND as you're filming. And it's basically just like filming on any other camera. It's really, you just click to record, obviously, and it's really easy to manipulate and change your shutter speed, your your ISO if you want. You can change, again, your lenses. It's a really easy way to film, and it's been a really great device to practice filmmaking and really just test out the capabilities of mobile filmmaking on the new iPhone. So that's how I've had the iPhone 17 Pro set up over the past month as I've tried to put it through its paces, both on my travels through Europe and as well as in Tokyo. And for the most part, I could say that I'm really generally surprised at how well the image comes out and how flexible it is directly from this camera. Now, for the most part, I'm not shooting feature films. I'm not on set with Aries typically. I'm just creating social first content for this YouTube channel, for my Instagram, and I'll also do client work. When I'm doing client work, it's not, again, for TV feature, crazy setups, 100 people crews. It's mostly just social content, or if I'm on set with a brand, or I'm trying to capture some cool movement and transitions, etc. That's the type of filmmaking that I'm doing. I'll touch again more deeply on my thoughts overall on this device as a pro filmmaking tool, but for the most part, from what I've seen from this device, it's getting there. It's not quite there. I'll go a little bit more in depth again, but it's really good, but it's not the final product. If you have any questions on any of the settings that I use for my iPhone, or if you have any questions on any of the accessories that I talked about in this video, please leave them down in the comments below. If you enjoy my color grading or any of my sound effects, again, my shop is linked down below. It's got all of my PowerGrades, my LUTs, presets, all that jazz. If you're interested, check it out. It's got a lot of cool things for creators. I'll probably be doing a full in-depth review on this device as a camera from a filmmaking perspective again, so stay tuned for that. And if you made it to the end of the video and you're interested perhaps in a color grading tutorial on iPhone specific footage, leave the word color grade down below in the comments. That way I'll know who's interested in an iPhone specific color grade, and I can attend to that very soon. Thanks again for watching to the very end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.